Hello, gorgeous souls. Welcome to this video on the Gemini new moon, which is happening on June the 6th. So this new moon is really good for bringing in new creative ideas and bringing momentum to any area of your life where you've been feeling stuck or stagnant. And what's really interesting about this Gemini new moon is this archetypal energy of Gemini is going to be at play for the next year. And that's because we recently had Jupiter move into this sign. So understanding this energy, knowing how to co-create with it in its highest timeline is really going to support you even well beyond the specific new moon. So we're going to dive into all of that today. I want to take a moment to welcome you here. If you've been with me on this journey for a little while, I love and appreciate your support so much. It is so fun to co-create together. If you are new here, a warm welcome. My name is Kara and I'm a cosmic channel. So in these videos, I share guidance with you from astrology, but also from the Akashic records. I share channel messages and how you can work with these energies in the highest timeline possible for your life journey, the highest timeline for the impact you're here to make, the money you are here to earn, the abundance that you are destined to experience, and the freedom. Freedom is a big value for me and the people in my world. So helping you really tap into that freedom on all levels. So if that resonates, be sure that you like, subscribe, and share. And I would be so very grateful and also honored to support your journey. So the Gemini energy, let's start with understanding this energy more before I pull up my chart and we go into more of the specifics around this new moon. So Gemini is a mutable air sign. And in astrology, the air signs are about communication, knowledge, and learning. And the mutable signs remind us to be flexible and adaptable. So Gemini really brings both of these energies together, and it's a really big reminder to keep an open mind. So notice where in your life you shut down from hearing other people's opinions, perspectives, point of view, or where you shut down and go into this mindset of, I already know that. I've already heard that before. The Gemini energy is so good at remembering that we can hear things in a new way. There's this curiosity, and like the curiosity of a child is how I always explain this Gemini energy of there's always asking questions, not thinking that we know, but instead being curious, being open. What can we learn from the people around us? Gemini is represented by the twins. So there's the duality here, and it also represents socializing and connection. And the energy around this new moon and even throughout Gemini season is very social. It's a wonderful time to like step out of our routine, try something new, connect with new people. And yes, asking questions and like hearing things in a new way, being curious, being open-minded. Also, it's about sharing your truth. What's the message on your heart that it is time to share? Where are you being called to share your opinion, your perspective? Where are there fears around that? Fears around, I'm not going to be heard or I'm going to be misunderstood. This new moon will make you aware of where that may be at play, where you're holding back from saying what's really on your heart, where you're holding back from sharing your opinion, your knowledge, your truth. And this is the time to really like speak up and share. For all my spiritual entrepreneurs, this is a beautiful time for you to share your work, share your message, claim your space. Infinite intelligence wants to be expressed through you. Keep that in mind, not only with this Gemini new moon, but going forward. Infinite intelligence wants to be expressed through you. Who you are matters, what you have to say matters, your opinion and your perspective matter as well. Now, the shadow side of this energy can be a feeling of overwhelm, a feeling of being scattered. And you'll see as I pull up the chart that we are working with a Gemini stellium, which is basically like astrology talk for there's a lot of planets in Gemini right now. There's a lot of energy there. So yes, this can bring movement and momentum to areas you're feeling stuck and stagnant. It can open you up to possibilities where previously you only saw the obstacle and challenge, and now suddenly you're like, oh wow, here's a solution, here's an opportunity. Or you're in conversation with someone that brings in a new perspective for you, or the solution that you've been looking for all along. And it's like they're coming in from the outside and they so clearly see what you can do to move things forward and be on the other side of that obstacle or challenge. Now, the other part of this is we really want to stay focused, because we can get overwhelmed with all the possibilities, all the ideas, and anybody that's been there before, you know, when we're in a space of overwhelm, we tend to shut down. It stops feeling joyful, it stops feeling fun, and we don't move forward with any of them because we're too overwhelmed with all the ideas. So a big message I'm hearing from the Akashic records is you want to have focus, laser-like focus on where you are going, what moves the needle in your business, what your priorities are right now, and don't get lost in the noise. Okay, let's dive in a little bit deeper here. I'm going to share my screen with you so you have the visual representation of this new moon energy. So every new moon means the sun and moon are conjunct. Right now, they are at 16 degrees of Gemini. And the stellium I'm talking about are all the other planets here as well. So we have Jupiter, we have Mercury, we have the sun and moon and Venus all in Gemini right now. So there's a big, big focus on this energy. So Jupiter here, this is the planet that's going to be in the sign of Gemini, moving through this sign into 2025. And this is where we are awakening to new ideas, new possibilities in our life, where we are encouraged to break out of our routine. This energy definitely wants you to mix things up. Oh, I'm gonna enlarge this. There we go. Okay. Mix things up, break out of your routine. Routines provide an element of comfort and familiarity because our subconscious mind knows what to expect. When our subconscious mind knows what to expect, it's like, I'm safe. The future is predictable. When we mix things up, there's an element of the unknown, which can pose a threat to our mind. But the thing is, that's how we grow and evolve, is soon what once felt scary and out of our comfort zone becomes our new normal. It becomes the new status quo. So this energy wants you to shake things up. Little things like maybe you're used to waking up at 9 a.m. and you set your alarm 10 minutes earlier so you have that time to do a meditation. Maybe you're used to going to the gym in the evening and instead you start going in the morning. These are just simply examples of like little things you can do in your day-to-day routine to mix things up. Now, the ruler of Gemini is Mercury. So Mercury is the ruler of this new moon. Mercury is the planet of communication, of knowledge, of learning. And it's also currently in the sign of Gemini as well. So there's something really interesting with this lineup of planets here that is putting the focus on our mind, the thoughts that we are entertaining. And the thoughts that we entertain carry an energy, a frequency, they carry a vibration. So we want to choose intentionally and be intentional about what we are consuming. This can be in terms of the YouTube videos we watch, the Netflix videos or series that we binge, the books that we read, but also intentional in terms of the conversations we are having, what we are contributing to those conversations. Are we going into these conversations just wanting to agree with the other person, agree with something that we fundamentally disagree with just to keep the peace? I mean, Gemini energy is very social, it's very open, it's very curious, but it's also about, hey, I get to have my opinion, my perspective as well, and I can be intentional about what I am choosing to engage in. So this can also relate to intentionality around the thoughts that you choose to focus on. So in our field, we each have like an auric field, an energy field, which is very powerful for what we are attracting and creating in our life. When we get good at tuning into our energy field or the energy field of other people, we have a glimpse into what they are creating because we feel that energy. So in our field, there's lots of possible thoughts that could come into our awareness, but that doesn't mean we have to grasp them, hold on to them, create a story around them, practice them so much that it turns into a core belief. So be aware about what thoughts you're repeatedly thinking and focusing on. I know that can feel tricky. Trust me, I totally get it. I have a background in psychology as well, a master's in psych. So I've studied the brain a lot. That was my focus in graduate school, really learning about rewiring our brain. And that's what I love to help my clients with as well, or even share, tidbits of that in these videos, how we can upgrade our programming, rewire our brain. So it's in alignment with the vision we have for our life instead of holding us back. So we want to be very intentional here. Now, the other interesting aspect is Venus is exactly conjunct this new moon, which simply means it's at the same degree. So in astrology, when you hear astrologers talking about a conjunction, it means the planets are at the same degree or within an 8-degree orb, so within 8 degrees. Venus, the moon, the sun are all at 16 degrees in Gemini. Venus is the planet that rules our heart. And it's very powerful when it's next to the sun. It's a very magnetic energy, again, contributing to this theme that this can be a very social month, a month for connecting, a month where you feel magnetic. Now, there's a few messages dropping in here from the records as I feel into this energy. So the first one is the guidance to trust your heart. So when we are making decisions just from our mind, we are only able to see the past because that's how our mind works. So it tends to want to keep us safe and recreating the same things because it doesn't see what's possible. It only has all this information and data around what was, all the information held in our subconscious around the experiences we've had, what's safe and what isn't, around our self-identity. And if we really want to move forward and create a new experience for our life, we have to tune into the wisdom that's held in our heart, which is a connection to your soul and your higher self, your highest path. And the more that you trust your heart to guide you, it doesn't mean it won't feel scary. In fact, it will. You'll be called out of your comfort zone. You'll be called to continually grow. You'll be called to make very brave, courageous decisions. But if your heart is guiding you in that direction, it is in your highest and best good. Because you have free will, you can choose to lean in and trust it or not. And there's never any judgment from these higher perspectives, like your higher self, your spirit team isn't judging you for what you choose. You'll simply feel more satisfied in your life if you're trusting your heart to guide you. So this new moon, even though it's ruled by Mercury and there's like a lot of activity around the intellect, I love that Venus is here because it's that reminder of, hey, at the end of the day, gather information, get the data, get the facts, but your heart is going to know what's in the highest and best good for you. Always, always trust it. Now, the main aspect that is being made here is a square with Saturn. So we have Saturn continuing to travel through Pisces, and it is forming a very close square, 2 degrees apart, with this new moon energy. Saturn's so interesting, coming into the mix with this beautiful Gemini new moon. Saturn comes in. So I've actually come to love working with Saturn. It gets us to step up our game. Saturn is about structure and discipline. So if we look at it that way, it can be very supportive for this Gemini energy, which is about fun, joy, playfulness, excitement, and definitely ideas, new ideas and knowledge and learning. So Saturn here, again, brings this discussion in around intentionality. You don't have to do it all, right? Sometimes in our business, like I work with a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs, people in healing professions, and we feel like we have to turn every passion we have into a business idea. And no, you just don't. If you try to do that, you're going to be overwhelmed with all these ideas and possibilities. So there's an element of focus that Saturn is bringing in. The other message from the records around this is taking a look at your identity. Another way to say identity is your self-image, how you see yourself. It's very hard for us on a human level to outperform our identity. For instance, if we see ourselves as somebody who is really bad with money, how are we going to live a wealthy lifestyle? Like, those two things are just not congruent. If we see ourselves as somebody who is unlovable, how are we going to have loving relationships in our life? What we can do is upgrade our identity so it's in alignment with what we want. Another way to say this is get in alignment with your highest self, anchor in that consciousness into your human body. So you are aligned with what you truly desire to experience and your highest path for this life journey. So Saturn is bringing in that structure, that discipline to your day-to-day routine, and an invitation to upgrade your identity, your self-image, so it is in alignment with who you really are. Like, a lot of what we hold in our auric field are, yes, the possibilities and the things we desire, but it can also be our doubts and our fears and our limiting beliefs and the stories we've taken on about who we are and what is possible for us. And it's not the ultimate truth. It's not who you really are. So I really invite you with this new moon to see it as a powerful reset. Venus conjuncting the moon and the sun like this is a very powerful reset for our emotions, for our heart, to come back, to like get in agreement with your higher self who knows your brilliance, your beauty, your power, your ability to impact people with your healing gifts and your message, your ability to live a life of abundance and overflow. Getting in agreement with your higher self. Those are the main themes emerging this new moon. I'm just going to take a moment to feel into the energy. If there's anything else wanting to come through to share with you today, that would be in your highest and best good, helpful to receive. Okay, one other thing. Embrace the different aspects of who you are. Gemini is associated with the twins. So there's an element of duality there and an invitation to be aware of the parts of self, the different aspects of yourself, and to be able to meet those different parts of yourself with love and compassion. Compassion is the greatest alchemizer. We often think or we can think if we are hard on ourselves or we beat ourselves up, then we'll change. And this is often a subconscious program. We can become aware that we're doing that, but for many people, this is operating on a subconscious level. So we're like hard on ourselves, and we think if we're hard on ourselves, then we'll eventually change. And we just don't have to go about it that way. So if you can be loving and compassionate with yourself, that actually creates change with greater ease. So I invite you to take a look at where you can show yourself a little more love and compassion this new moon. And those are the energies. I'm going to stop the share here. So I do want to let you know that I'm beginning my Lightworkers Rise Academy with a new group of students. You can get all the details below. This is an incredibly powerful program if you're looking to grow your business. It teaches you the energetics as well as the strategy, soul aligned strategy. It's aligned with your soul blueprint of a six-figure business. It's a very comprehensive course. We'll have a year together. It also focuses on your spiritual growth and evolution as well. So all the details for that are below. Feel free to reach out if you have questions, and I am sending you all so much love. Enjoy this exciting new moon in Gemini. Bye for now.